Because she knows, she's his wife. She knows what he loves and how to fix it up just right for him. She knows how to make it taste good like Esau would make it taste good. Verse 10, then you shall take it to your father, that he may eat it, and that he may bless you before his death. And Jacob said to Rebekah his mother, look, Esau my brother is a hairy man. Remember when he was born, he was hairy, like an animal would be hairy. He was very hairy. And I am a smooth-skinned man. Perhaps my father will feel me, and I shall seem to be a deceiver to him. And I shall bring a curse upon myself and not a blessing. So apparently Isaac can't see. He's blind by now. He can't see. So he can only smell and feel. Now, look at verse 13 and listen to what Rebekah says. But his mother said to him, let your curse be on me, my son. Only obey my voice and go and get them for me. I don't care what happens to me. I'll take your curse. But I want you to be the one that's blessed and not Esau. Verse 14, and he went and got them and brought them to his mother, and his mother made a savory food such as his father loved. Now, I want you to see something here too. In verse 12, Jacob knows exactly what he's doing, and he knows that it's wrong. Because he says, I don't want to do this. If I do this, I will seem to be a deceiver to my father. He knows what's going on. He knows it's not right, but I'm going to listen to what you say anyway. Verse 15, then Rebekah took the choice clothes of her older son Esau, which were with her in the house, and put them on Jacob, her younger son. Esau was married already. He had married the foreign women. He wasn't living at home, but apparently some of his clothes were there. And they smelled like him. So she took some of her clothes and she put it on Jacob, and she put the skins of the kid of goats on his hands and on the smooth part of his neck. So she took the goat that she had killed to cook, she skinned it, and she took the skin and put it on Jacob's hands and around his neck, so that when Isaac touched him, that's what he would feel. He would feel the hair. He would feel it, which lets us know exactly how hairy Esau had to be. He had to almost look like a werewolf with all the hair that would have been on his body. Verse 17, then she gave the savory food and the bread which she had prepared into the hands of her son Jacob. So he went to his father and said, my father. And he said, here I am. Where are you, my son? Jacob said to his father, I am Esau, your firstborn. He's lying. I have done just as you told me. Please arise, sit and eat my game, that your soul may bless me. But Isaac said to his son, how is it that you have found it so quickly, my son? Pause right there. Why could he not recognize his voice as not being the voice of Esau? Jacob had to be disguising his voice a little bit, or perhaps even sound a little bit like Esau. But I know the difference between Rashawn and Brandon's voice. They both are deep. They both, sound. Now, Charlie and Brandon have a closer voice. Sometimes if I call the house and Brandon answers the phone, it sounds like Charlie for a second. But as he talks, I realize it's Brandon. What is going on here that Isaac, now mind you, those senses had to be keener because he couldn't see. So his hearing and his smell and taste and all that, when one part of your senses goes, the others kind of pick up to pick up the slack. That's naturally, by nature. So what's going on here that he couldn't recognize? the sound of his voice. Now, let's move on. How is it that you found it so quickly, my son? Now look at what Jacob says. Because the Lord your God brought it to me.
Lying on God.
Lying on God. Now mind you, he's lying to a man of God that's supposed to know God. That's supposed to be in relationship with him. That's supposed to have a connection with God. So apparently, Isaac has weaned away from his relationship with God. Okay? So Jacob lies to him. Now let me put it to you this way. God told me to tell you. God said, okay? God said this and God said that. God said you are supposed to do this. God told me to tell you if y'all don't do this, that, or the other, God's going to get you. God's not pleased with that. You understand what I'm saying? You see the point that I'm making with you? You better know the voice of God. You better be in relationship with him to where you can discern when somebody is not telling you what thus saith the Lord. Because this man, Jacob, is a man of God. Talking to a man of God, lying and saying, God told me. God did this for me because the Lord your God brought it to me. Verse 21, then Isaac said to Jacob, please come near that I may feel you, my son, whether you are really my son Esau or not. Something is clicking in him.
Okay.
But what does he do? He doesn't say, wait a minute, Lord, what's going on here? He says, come here. Let me take my natural. Let me feel you and see if that's you. No discernment, no seeking God. The outward appearance is what I want to touch and see to see if who you say you are, who you are.
Wow.
Now, I need you to see this. You cannot judge things by the outward appearance.
Wow. Okay.
We, as the people of God, cannot afford to judge things by the outward appearance. We walk by what?
Faith.
By faith and not by sight. We don't even walk by feeling. Hello. We don't walk by what something feels like. Feels like we had good atmosphere in here. Feels like this, that. We don't walk by that.
Amen.
We walk by faith. And what is faith?
The evidence of the Lord working through you.
Exactly. Faith is the evidence of the Spirit of God working in you. That's what faith is. So we walk